All right, so I watched Sound of Metal. If you watched my last video on the Odyssey, you would know that video did a wheel spin with my watch list of movies. There's like almost 200 of them on there, and the one it landed on was Sound of Metal. So that'll be my first wheel review from the channel. So I just last night I watched Sound of Metal. It was really good. I liked it a lot. One of my favorite movies of all time is Whiplash. So I was always interested in this movie, and I knew going in it wasn't going to be anything like Whiplash. I absolutely adore Whiplash. It's probably one of my top favorite movies of all time. So I wanted to, give this one a shot. And so I was excited to see this come up on the wheel. For anybody that doesn't know, basically the premise of the movie, without spoiling anything, is he is a drummer for like a punk rock band or something, and he just randomly goes deaf. And most of the movie is about him kind of like fighting his deafness. He goes to doctors and they're telling him, you're never going to get your full hearing back, but you can get this thing done for, such and such money. And then he goes to this camp. Um, I guess we can just get into spoilers now. It's not a whole lot to spoil. I mean, it's not like, you know, like Robert Downey Jr. is not going to show up in this movie. So you don't have to worry about Ruben showing up in Doomsday or anything. Yeah, so spoilers from here on out. Well, before spoilers, I'll say I definitely recommend this movie. I recommend anybody who likes film, sound design, anybody who's into music, or just like a good character study movie. Like should be right up your alley. All right, spoilers from here on out. So the scene where he first goes deaf, I think he's in like a record shop, and he like just goes deaf. Like you just hear the audio like cut slowly out into nothing. I think I would have been freaking out there. I think he was playing a little cool for my liking, but I thought he was really good in his part there. And I think that the initial like showing of him like trying to deal with it, um, where this part here when he goes to like the doctor and telling him that he can't hear anymore, and he ends up going to this deaf community where his girlfriend kind of, I mean, for good reason, she decides that he needs this, and she just kind of leaves him there. I do think that the characterization of the two main guys, Riz Ahmed, I think is his name, Riz Ahmed's character, and his girlfriend, they were really sweet together. I think that they had good chemistry, and their relationship was believable, and it was a nice change of pace that they're like just kind of a good, happy couple. Like they're not fighting. There's not really any toxic shit. It's just like they're just there for each other. It was really refreshing to not have relationship drama in this movie. Like the most you get is like him basically begging her not to leave, which was heartbreaking, like that part. But you know that she's gonna, because she knows that this is better for him and he's a stubborn asshole. So yeah, it was really good. I think like, but after she leaves and it feels like he's almost at this deaf camp for like an hour. He's there hanging out with these deaf kids and learning ASL, and he's there for, again, what feels like probably an hour of the movie, and it kind of just drove the movie to a screeching halt for me. Like I was still enjoying the journey of the movie, but I wasn't as engaged as I was for like the first maybe 20-30 minutes. But he's hanging out with these kids because he doesn't know any ASL, so he's got to learn it from scratch. So he's in like the beginners courses. The leader of the deaf community I thought was really good. Paul Reishi, however you say his name. He was really really good in it as the deaf community's leader. I think that he brought like a really interesting perspective to Riz Ahmed, like because for most of the movie, Riz Ahmed is just looking at his deafness as like an inconvenience, which it is for him, especially somebody who wasn't deaf before. But I think the leader trying to show him that this isn't the end for him, I think was really powerful and worked really good as like a foil to Riz Ahmed's perspective. I think that both of those characters kind of like talking with each other and the conversations they would have just sitting in the office with the computer program that would translate for Ruben was like really, really good stuff. And all the sound design in the camp, it was really good. Like the moments of just like almost complete silence, where you just hear, the people kind of like signing and like their like swishing of their shirts or them like hitting on a table or like just the sounds of nature as they're outside or the flow of the grass. Like all the sound design was really good around these people. I think that when he eventually sells all of his stuff and the RV, that was fairly unexpected to me. I thought the movie was going to go in the direction of he just kind of, accepts his deafness and just becomes one with this community, kind of like finds a new way in life, but he still is unhappy by like 25, 30 minutes till the end of the movie. And so he ends up selling all of his stuff and goes through with the surgery, which is one of the best scenes I think in the movie is when he goes to get no, before that, sorry. The scene when he's like he goes back to the deaf community and asks Joe, the main guy there, if he can stay while he's recovering. And the deaf community's leader is basically, we don't see the deafness as a handicap and we don't want these kids to feel like it is. And them having like a constant reminder of you being here and seemingly thinking that it is a handicap, like we don't want you here. Like they basically, the dude says that he's not welcome here because he went through the surgery and isn't accepting of his own, his own deaf challenge that he got. But then, which leads to him getting the little device on his, temples or whatever to be able to hear again. And the audio was heartbreaking, almost like horrifying how like it's so like tinny. It sounds like it's almost like underwater. And the first scene of that was really good, like showing his like he doesn't say it, it's all on his face, but you can tell like his immediate regret that he feels like he fucked up some way by getting the surgery. So he did really well as far as showing the emotions and like trying to kind of accept that this is how it's going to be, which leads to the part where where he reconnects with his girlfriend and he can't really hear it at this party. He's like having trouble like hearing the duet between his girlfriend and her. Like I think they're like estranged and they kind of reconnected while he was at this camp kind of deal. So they're doing like this really sweet, beautiful duet kind of moment, and then can't hear it. He's like hearing it basically through like super super crazy audio filter from this device he got. So, that's I think the moment when he becomes like too overwhelmed and actually, sorry, I'm backtracking here a little bit. Before he gets overwhelmed and leaves, earlier in the movie, when he's at this community, the leader keeps telling him like every day you're gonna wake up early, you're gonna sit at this desk, and when you feel restless, you write down whatever. It doesn't have to be anything specific, but just write in this book. And then in your moments of stillness, I'll know because you won't. I've written anything in this book, I think is what basically he's saying. But the idea of Riz Ahmed's character finding moments of peace in his life, which a lot of people have trouble figuring out, but it seems like he actually has struggled with that a lot, and especially now with this newfound struggle he has in having to learn ASL and his newfound deafness, he has to kind of accept his life, and he's not willing to do that yet. And so at the end, for the whole movie, he hasn't been able to find his moment of stillness. He's overwhelmed by like church bells or a clock tower or something going off, and he like basically starts almost having like a panic attack, and so he takes off the device on his temples, and the audio cuts back out to completely quiet. Sitting on a park bench, he's kind of just like looking around, sees kids having fun. I think they're skateboarding. He sees people just walking and smiling, having a good time, and you see this kind of like moment of realization and peace on his face, and then the movie ends. I think it was a beautiful way to end the movie. I think that I really enjoyed the mass majority of this movie. I think, like I said, it was kind of slow in the middle part. The opening was really good, like throwing you right into the world of this punk guy and how aggressive the music they're listening to is. It almost feels like it was only a matter of time before this happened to him. And the initial part of him trying to figure out how he's gonna combat his deafness was like really stressful and heartbreaking, but also like an enticing place to kind of like start a movie. I think that the middle part was kind of slow, like the deaf community stuff. I think could have been cut down a little bit. I think that there was little too many scenes of them fucking around. Although the scenes that I mentioned earlier of him talking with the community leader, both of the main scenes where that happens, plus the scene of him like sitting on the bottom of the slide with the other deaf kid on the top, and he kind of starts drumming on the slide. Like that was such a sweet moment. I love that part of the movie, and the kid just kind of smiling and listening to the vibrations against the slide. It was a really touching moment. I do think that the sound design in this movie was amazing. I absolutely loved it for what it did. I think it could have even gone a step further. Maybe it's just me, but I think that like because so much of the middle of the movie was almost completely silent, like diegetic scenes were like all pretty much quiet, like no people talking, and then going from that to after he gets his implant thing, you get like two scenes. Like I just wish that the whole last the part of the movie basically until he disconnects the thing was through that tinny audio. And I get that that would be actually grating for the people watching it to try to figure out the whole movie through that, but you basically have to watch this movie with subtitles anyway. So what's like, a couple more scenes of you having to just pay a little extra attention. I think it would have worked great to kind of show like how much he kind of fucked up and how much of a realization he's having at the end that he maybe didn't do the right thing and he should have just kind of accepted this new journey for himself in life instead of trying to fight it so heavily. But I still think, even though it was probably wrapped up a little quickly, I think the ending was really good and like the acting, especially from Riz Ahmed, who I think I've only ever seen in I think Star Wars Rogue One, where he gets like touched by like some big tentacle monster thing. So this was a really good showing for Riz Ahmed as an actor. I thought it was great for him. I think that's basically all I have to say about this one. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think that it's probably one of the better movies I've seen this year. Definitely probably one of the better movies that are just about like music, like especially because most are just biopics nowadays, and those are always like the glossed over like fantasy version of these people's lives. You don't get any real things. And again, that's what Whiplash does too. Like seeing this raw, real side of like music is really good. It's not like he's like part of like a super popular band. Like it seems like they have like a tour around their state or like around like the Midwest or something, but it's not like they're a giant band. So he's like again like Whiplash. He's doing all this for something that most people won't even ever see or realize, which I guess, a lot of people do something like that. I mean, I'm doing that right now with this YouTube video. I do like stories where somebody's like personal goals in life, they strive for that. And that's like, even if they're going to fuck over everybody, or if even only like a certain small percentage of the world is even going to know their name, they have that drive to do it. And I really respect that. I think that that was one of the best parts about Marty Supreme was that Timothy Chalamet's character, he's such a little shit. He's like a little pompous little weasel who is fucking over everybody. He's stealing, he's lying, he's doing whatever he can to make it big in a ping pong tournament, Like that's his big goal is to be a ping pong champion, which it's like, yeah, it's cool that you're going around saying that you're the ping pong champion, but like at the end of the day, you're not going to go walking down the streets 95 98% of people aren't going to know, oh, that's Marty Mauser from the ping pong. Like, it's such a niche that you're kind of having to play into your own audience. And I think that that's what works really well about these types of movies is at the end of the day, they're still going through all this just for pennies on a dollar, we'll say. Like they're not doing this for fame and glory. They're doing this for the love of the game and because they want bragging rights or part of it. But that's not even fully part of Riz Ahmed's character. Like he's doing this for money basically. They're struggling. Like both him and his girlfriend and this band are struggling. You do feel for them as characters, and you do understand kind of where he's coming from and his desperation when he figures out how much it's going to cost him to get this surgery. So yeah, I think I'll leave it there. I don't have much else to say. I think the only other thing I'll say is that I think that the color grading, which a lot of movies have this doesn't need to be like super rainbow like poppy saturated, but the whole movie was really desaturated, and I wish it just had like a little bit more color pop to it because there was a lot of like toned out muted colors. It didn't really help because I do like the scenic parts of this movie. Like I do like this little community that he goes and is a part of, and like all the grungy bar scenes, like even the record shop that he goes to, like all feel very like real and lived in, but like everything is like this muted, almost like the whole movie is like this tone. Like it's like this like muted, like reddish greenish. It's just not great. It's not great. Bump up those colors, cut out a couple scenes of him fucking around at this deaf community, and make his tinny audio at the end. Do a couple more. Take out the scenes of him fucking around at this deaf camp. Put a couple more scenes of him coming to the realization of his mistake of getting this implant at the end, and I think you would have a better movie all around for me. I could be wrong. That's just me, but that's how I feel about this one. I think this movie is gonna get an 8 out of 10 or a 4 out of 5 for now. Could definitely, I don't see it going down. If anything, this movie would definitely go up on another watch. Maybe I was just expecting a little more from it, but I think that 8 out of 10 for now is a really good way to start there. All right, I'm gonna spin for another movie now, so we'll be back in a sec. All right, so I've got the wheel here of all my random, well, I mean, they're random to you, but to me, they're all movies that I've heard of, or, somebody's mentioned to me, or I've, listened to somebody else talk about. So we're just gonna keep shuffling this a little bit, and I'm gonna give it a spin. And I will say, while I'm spinning, the irony of me talking shit about Nolan's sound design and then my audio being really low for my last video. It's fun. I get it. So hopefully my audio will be a little better. But yeah, just wanted to put that out there. I get the irony of me talking shit about sound design and then my shit having to get turned up all the way to be able to hear me. So hopefully this one I'll be able to figure out how to fix that. But we'll see. That might be like a thing I have to figure out before I start recording. I don't know if I could boost the audio up after, but who knows? This is my second video editing ever. But we have Ashes of Snow as the movie to watch. Let's see what Ashes of Snow is. I don't even remember what this is. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Ashes of Snow, I remember this. It's, I think, mostly just like a silent documentary. Lawrence Fishburne narrating, yeah, and it's just a documentary basically about people and animals coexisting, I think, with like really cool visual like camera work. So this will be the next thing I review. Probably after, I think this weekend, I'll probably go see the new Spider-Man. So the next review will be for Spider-Man Brand New Day. So keep an eye out for that one. But after that, I will be reviewing Ashes of Snow. So if you want to watch that or, figure out what that's all about with me, watch it before I post. It should be in like a week or two. So thank you guys all for watching again. Leave a comment if you agree or disagree with my take on Sound of Metal. Let me know if there's any other movies I should add down in the description or anything I could do to, make my videos better or more interesting to watch. I'm kind of just, flying by the seat of my pants right now. I'm just kind of talking. So whatever you guys think would work better, let me know down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe if you feel so inclined. All right, bye.